Hey guys, it's your host Davion. Welcome to another episode of Conscious TV. This is an emergency show. I had to postpone my original flight just to go ahead and land this here plane. Larry D. Reid, which is becoming Larry Darn Reid. To me, you know, like, child, that Larry Darn Reid is in trouble again. Child, what the world that Larry Darn Reid done got himself into. Child, Larry Darn Reid always in some mess. Yes, that D is for darn, and when need be is for dummy. Now, our secular man of God, Larry, is in a tight spot, and I ain't talking about the button on Montel's pants. I'm talking about this here litigations, and I'm gonna tell you all about it tonight. But before we get on this midnight train to Georgia, I also want to thank the Wiggins boy who was sending new subbies and congratulators over to my channel after he played several minutes of an interview he wanted that I got and tried to low-key shade me by calling my interview with Gio late, when he's the one who needed my interview as a reference for a solid Google AdSense check for the month of March. Get money, bitch. So you're welcome. I was gonna copyright strike the video since you were too arrogant to ask my permission to play my interview on your delayed, tied, and through platform, but the Holy Ghost said, bruh, watch me work. And then I noticed all the new faces and compliments and was told that they came over from your basic ass platform. Do you see what happens when you try to be shady and God turns your simple ass into a simple footstool for a bad bitch to step upon to obtain higher ground? So I'm going to let that several minutes rock on your channel since it ended up being a fair exchange anyway. God bless and much success to you, Tasha Wiggins. Anyways, y'all know to rate, share, subscribe, and comment before we get started. I'm going to play some elevator music while y'all share the stream out. And I'm going to dedicate tonight's selection to Larry. And when y'all return in a few, we'll jump right into the bullshiggity.
PPA, no info for the DEA. Federal agents mad cause I'm flagrant. Tap myself and the phone in the basement. My team supreme, stay clean. Triple beam, miracle dream. I be that. Catch a seat at all events bent. Gats and holsters, girls on shoulders. Playboy, I told ya, me and Mike's to me. Bruise too much, I lose too much. Step on stage, the girls boo too much. I guess it's cause you run with lame dudes too much. Me lose my touch, never that. If I did, ain't no problem to get the gap where the true players at. Throw your rollies in the sky, waving side to side, and keep your hands high while I give your girl an eye. Player please, lyrically, nigga C, B.I.G.B. flossing, jig on the cover of Fortune, 500. That's my phone number, your man, I got the know, I got the dough, got the flow down, pizzat, platinum plus, like Zizak, dangerous on Trizak, leave your ass pizzat.
Now, before we officially get started, I want to shout out my contributors that felt the need to show the kids some love from the last upload, which was Gios Interview. That interview, ironically, was very well received. I had no idea that so many people would have found that interview to be therapeutic for them, that it would have been spiritual for them, that it just would have been the shit for them. So God bless. That was not the intention. This was just a solid conversation between me and Gio, and the situation between, you know, two people that I really love and admire. So I am really, really, really grateful. And I thank all of you guys who shared the video out, who really enjoyed and left all your messages and emails. I'm going to find a way to bring that element to my channel of these like raw Iyanla conversations, okay, on the Conscious platform. We're going to work that out for the people, okay? So thank you so much for sowing into the platform. May God double your gifting and bless all of you contributors immensely. Love you. Now, y'all know the blogger Larry D. Reid, right? He's a hilarious, messy, big-hearted commentator who's known for challenging the controversy of the modern church. He's been responsible for raising hundreds of thousands of dollars in aid of various victims, ministries, including everything from donations that lead to housing for various individuals to connecting people to lawyers, prophets, and even therapists. and also by allowing people to tell their verifiable truths by way of his platform. And now y'all know this here hasn't been no fairy tale nor cakewalk in the park. For every good deed you do in Lucifer's world, there comes equal consequence for being God's helper outer. And for Larry, those devils are in the form of this legal battle he's in with Atlanta, Georgia's one and only E. Dewey Smith, pastor of mega church House of Hope, which is also the church featured in the OWN network show Greenleaf. Now, all of this mess started between the House of Hope and Larry, allegedly, when victims came forth and alleged rape assault via employees of House of Hope, along with the revelation that Dewey himself also allegedly has a child out of wedlock who he's been secretly paying child support towards. Now, you guys know that I picked up the story after Larry was silenced because, unlike Larry, I did not sign a NDA. Okay, I am free to report, I am free to research, I am free to go about my business. Now, I covered this story, so for all of you who have missed interviews that Larry had to get rid of, that have had missed testimonies that Larry had to get rid of, you guys can go over into the Patreon and just go way back in my Patreon. You will see the titles for the interviews that he had to get rid of, but that I was able to snatch up out of there, you know, in order to carry on the torch and the momentum of the story. I will leave the link to my Patreon in the description box below. Now, at one point in time, Larry and Dewey allegedly tried to come together so that Larry could help Dewey come forward professionally and publicly about this child. But after a bizarre string of events involving Phaedra Parks, who represented Larry during this time, and a very questionable consultant agreement contract that Dewey wasn't fulfilling his end of, manifested, Larry bailed out of the term and conditions in a nigga kind of fashion. He hauled ass, in other words, forgetting that you can't walk away from contractual obligations like you can from your diet, Larry. I have told you that if you want to lose that extra 37 pounds you're trying to drop, you need to draw up a consultant agreement between you and the kitchen pantry, because it seems to be the only thing that'll help at this damn point. Now, this is where Larry messed up at, because as a result of him bailing out on his consultant agreement, which was really in fact a NDA, the House of Hope has been able to form a case against the blogger, who so far they've tried to have arrested by having him in contempt of court, which he beat that by having the judge silence people who Dewey allegedly believes Larry has spoken to, which didn't work either, and by trying to get a permanent gag order put on Larry, which Larry is an Aquarius, and nothing is more valuable to a Aquarius man than their big ass mouths. So he's been damn near willing to live in a homeless shelter and go broke by fighting them in court rather than giving in and giving them what they want, which is to keep him from ever being able to speak about the House of Hope and E. Dewey ever again. Now, if you want the full rundown from top to bottom, I'll list the links to my commentary on this drama in the description box below. You can catch up if you haven't been following this case. Now, Larry's lawyers have been on a winning streak since on the case. However, they overlooked one small technicality recently in a hearing that gave E. Dewey a tidbit of a victory, and that mistake is a $25,000 one that Larry got 8 more damn days to come up with. Now, before I tell y'all the real deal about the case and what the next move is, let me tug on these lawyers' wigs real quick. Ogar and Sadir are the name of Larry's lawyers, and y'all already named like the last remaining airbenders, girl. Now, y'all slipping a little too much for comfort. See, government assistance helps with Larry's rent. They don't assist in paying off lawsuits. Now them baby girls of his round here eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner in that big old new house cause y'all ain't filing paperwork on time. Last night I had to help Larry set up an OnlyFans page so he can get the dick slanging for middle-aged women and lonely gay men on camera, just in case we can't raise the darn money, cause it ain't tricking if you got it. In this case, Larry don't. So this might just have to come on down to some good old-fashioned willy-nilly tricking. You hear? This is a man who don't mind doing something strange for a little piece of change. So Ogar and Sadir, y'all are about one more mistake away from being replaced with legal aid and Donald Trump's auditor. Get y'all shit together. Now, this is what's currently going on. Olgar and Sadir didn't respond to Quentin and Dewey's original complaint. So you have to respond to a complaint in 45 days, 30 days with a 15-day grace period. The original complaint the judge demanded was to be refilled with full names and no initials. The amended complaint was the one the lawyers were going back and forward over. Like a clever critter, Quentin paperworked Larry's lawyers to death, meaning he filed frivolous, meaningless, pointless motions daily for weeks at a time that required Larry's lawyers to legally have to respond to every single motion, which kept them distracted from the amended complaint, which slipped away from the lawyers' radars. So Quentin was able to file default motion in that strategized timing on the original complaint, which gave Dewey a win that the law demands. The judge had to award it, but chose to do it with stipulations. At the default hearing, Quentin was able to restate his full case at the default hearing, but Larry's lawyers couldn't because they were the ones in default due to not filing the paperwork in time. They were only allowed to beg the judge to take the case out of default and nothing else. Quentin asked the court to award $250,000 for breach of contract and $10,000 for contract paid to Phaedra and $95,000 plus in lawyer fees, contempt of court, and permanent injunction. The judge thought the contract was bogus and didn't grant a goddamn thing concerning the contract or the contempt, but in court a post was found left up by Larry against the judge's orders. So the judge granted $25,601.58, which was a percentage of Dewey's lawyer fees and a permanent injunction. Larry has to pay the $25,000 to the clerk of Superior Court while speaking the civil court judge's order in Superior Court by March 5th at 5 p.m. Larry still has to wait for a date for the appeal of court. So all the crap stupid ass folk put out about Larry's case and him owing $1 billion quadrillion and lost his case is a lie, clearly. And what's strange is that folk can see everything going on with the case because it's online. The case has been unsealed and still misread, misrepresented, and straight up lied about the nature and status of the case, which leads me to believe that some people are not really bloggers, they're just gossipers who specialize in satire news. Because when 90% of your reporting is exaggerated, twisted up, and just straight up filled with your imagination, you can't remotely be a blogger, but simply a joke. Now, I just turned on the 6 o'clock news and fixed me some spaghetti and meatballs to tell you that Pantene ProV is really good for dry hair, and Larry needs our help to pay this $25,000, because when I used the shampoo in the shower with warm water, my hair felt so squeaky clean. So out of 60,000 of y'all over there on Larry Reid Live and 20K of y'all over here on Conscious TV, it only takes 100 of us to send in a donation of $250 to Larry's Cash App, which is info@thenbnnetwork.org. And girl, when I finished massaging that shampoo into my hair and air dried it out, my hair never felt so soft and fluffy. So I recommend picking it up at any of your local CVS's and Walgreens. All hell with it. I tried to lay it on you easy. Child, Larry Reid need at least 100 of us to help him pay off this $25K. Now, I sent in my $250 last night through PayPal. Olga and Shadia better win. Cause do you know how many niggas I had to let bid off on sucking these titties for $30 a pop to help out Larry? Now, some of y'all may say his lawyer court platform issues ain't none of your responsibility. And I say to you, move your ass around, because this message is only for those who want to help. So I don't want to hear nothing from none of the people who won't be sending in a single dime, because this opportunity to help your favorite controversial blogger who you always encourage to keep his Jordans on the necks of these corrupted church leaders is only a message for those who truly support and value the entertainment and real life work of Larry. What's the point of having all these listeners and followers and thousands upon thousands of viewers if you can't get 100 out of 80,000 of them to send in a $250 donation? What's the point of having a movement filled with people who don't even want to help you get your back up off the wall as a consequence for doing the very work your followers are continuously encouraging and praying for you to do. So let's make it happen, people. Larry already got a good 20 people so far who has sent in a $250 donation, and we only have 8 days now to help him come up with that money, or the House of Hope is going to have an even larger opportunity to accomplish silencing Larry, and we've come too far and got too close to lose now. So saints, pull out your purses and reach into your briefcases, fellas, and send Larry that bail money you put aside for a rainy day. If Larry wins, as a thank you to us, he'll finish completing that app that 5,000 of y'all asses crashed yesterday, because there were more people who signed up for the app than expected, which was amazing for one, but will require coin to rectify. Coin that Larry will invest as a token of appreciation for the supporters holding him down in these legal battles. Now, all Larry's info is on the screen. You can PayPal or Cash App the $250 donation, and Larry will let us know once 100 people have followed suit, so that everyone else knows that the goal is met and don't have to further donate. So get the word out, you guys, and if you have it to spare, then consider it a seed sown into a platform and person you believe in, who might not be perfect, but sure is worth it, because God ain't used a perfect person since Jesus. The rest of us are good enough. I have a document to drop into the Patreon, so head over there to see with your own eyes, so that you don't have to take the word of dumb, low vibrating bloggers who graduated from Piggly Wiggly, who couldn't read a court case properly even if God himself explained it to them. Love you all and have a wonderful night.